President Obama says the bond between Israel and the U.S. is unbreakable. The comments were made at a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington over the stalled Mideast peace process. Netanyahu's visit follows an apparent souring of relations over Israel's controversial policy of extending settlements in occupied Palestinian territories. Obama and Netanyahu discussed a number of issues, including the resumption of face-to-face talks between Israelis and Palestinians. On the eve of the meeting, further details were announced of plans to ease the blockade of Gaza. Most consumer goods will now be allowed in, and President Obama praised the move. Earlier, Israel had been under intense international pressure over the issue, including from Washington, following a deadly raid on a Gaza-bound aid flotilla in May. Well, during Netanyahu's 3-day stay in the U.S., Obama is also expected to press him to extend a 10-month Israeli moratorium on the building of new settlements in the West Bank.
I think what the administration will be looking for, and what the Palestinians will certainly want, is an extension of the existing moratorium, limited and partial though it is, but an extension of that beyond the September deadline, because there is this time bomb lurking at the end of September when the moratorium is over, and the settlers and their allies are poised to start building massively all across the West Bank. And that obviously has the potential of being a diplomatic disaster. I think this is a point that the Palestinians pushed very hard with the Americans a couple of weeks ago. I think it's a point that Obama is going to push very hard with Netanyahu. Now, the Americans have made ending the conflict based on a Palestinian state a national security priority. Or this is not optional for the United States. This is now adjudged by the American establishment to be necessary, absolutely vital to the American national interest. This is new. This is something the Israelis are still trying to adjust to, trying to come to terms with, and I don't think they've really fully internalized it yet. But they are dealing with a superpower patron that views their actions and all Middle Eastern actors' actions in a new strategic context of a holistic, interlinked puzzle. And the Israelis can't say, well, we'll just deal with the Palestinians over here, and you deal with Iran and Iraq over here, and deal with it. No, everything is linked, and the Israelis have to adjust themselves to that idea.
Well, a professor of Middle East Studies at New York University, Dr. Alon Ben Meir, says Israel's decision to ease the Gaza blockade has come at the right time.
Obviously, the blockade really did not work. If anything, it has strengthened Hamas rather than weakened Hamas. And Israel came to this conclusion. The flotilla incident basically instigated this whole campaign against the blockade. And it's time for Israel to reconsider its policies toward Gaza, because the blockade did not work, and some other means has to be pursued, specifically because there is non-violent atmosphere today in Gaza as well as in West Bank, and Israel needs to capitalize on the non-violent atmosphere to advance the peace process. This is an opportunity for both sides to move forward.